Hi, it's Mofaya.
And Jesse Bernstein of Mofaya Documentary and Crypto Mofaya's NFT.
The story of how I smuggled myself through Africa with only my music in search of a better life.
You're listening to the Edge of NFT, a great podcast that features meaningful projects all the damn time. Stay tuned.
Hey, all you NFT curious listeners. Check out today's episode to learn how a daring escape from the Congo has led to one of the most compelling stories and NFT projects of today.
How today's guest is making the tough decision about which songs will make it into his launch into outer space.
And how never selling anything, but giving everything away can be your best sales strategy. All this and more on today's episode. Enjoy.
Welcome to the Edge of NFT podcast with your hosts, Jeff Kelley, Eathan Janney, and Josh Kriger. We aim to bring you not only the top 1% of what's going on with NFTs today, but what will stand the test of time. We explore the nuts and bolts and the business side, but also the human element of how NFTs are changing the way we interact with the things that we love. This podcast is for the futurists and dreamers, the disruptors and creators, the fans and connectors, and the makers and doers that are pumped about this ecosystem and driving where it goes next.
Today's sponsored Spotlight episode features Mermans Mosengo and Jesse Bernstein of the Mofaya Documentary and Crypto Mofaya's NFT project. A little bit about Mofaya. After losing his father and brother to corrupt armed forces in the Congo, Mermans Mosengo had no choice but to escape. The Mofaya Documentary is a real-life epic adventure about how Mofaya smuggled himself from country to country in trains, engine rooms, and army planes. With nothing more than the guitar on his back, Mofaya's musical talent became his spiritual passport that has inspired millions of people around the world. Mofaya crossed the South African border in a gas tank and was discovered in Cape Town by a music producer while performing in a bar on Long Street. Mofaya was granted an O1 visa, played music around the world, and his life was forever changed. In September of 2006, Mofaya became the lead singer of the Playing for Change band, received his green card into the United States, and currently lives in Playa del Rey, California. A bit about the filmmaker Jesse. After spending 20 years as an actor on multi-million-dollar film and television sets, Jesse Bernstein transitioned to storytelling behind the camera. Jesse has written and directed spec commercials for Subaru, as well as a handful of short films before documenting the courageous journey of Mermans Mosengo. It's really great to have you both on the podcast. Welcome, guys.
Yeah, man.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here.
Yeah, quite a story there. I'm really excited to be able to dive in on this thing. And so let's do that right now. Let's start at the beginning and talk to us about how the idea for the Mofaya documentary came about, and then how that led to the Crypto Mofaya's project.
Well, the Mofaya documentary came about. Mermans has been living off of an O1 visa. He's been traveling and playing music around the world thanks to Playing for Change. But Mark Johnson, the founder of Playing for Change, is my neighbor here in Venice Beach. So when Mermans was traveling around, he'd be sleeping on Mark's couch. And for the past 8 years or so, Mermans and I have become like brothers. And so we were by Muscle Beach in Venice doing pull-ups and push-ups with my dog, boxing and stuff. And we're walking back from our morning workout, and he received a message on his phone that he had just received his green card. And we stood there. It was almost like the world had stopped spinning on its axis. We were there, and it was just like everything felt like it was just, we were in the right place at the right time. And I looked over at Mermans and I said, we need to make a movie about your life. And we couldn't really wrap our brains around what that was going to look like at the time. But we knew Mermans was telling me that he had to go back to South Africa
To get my wife and kids and stuff and bring them over.
He was planning on going back to South Africa where his wife and kids were living. And I had to pitch the idea first to Mark Johnson. So we walked back to his living room and I told him the idea is, look, I think we should make a documentary about Mermans. And he was kind of lukewarm on the idea. I said, yeah, sounds cool, but I think his plate was too full. So that weekend, Mark had to travel to Seattle, and Mermans and I were kind of left alone in the house. And I wrote a treatment, and we put together a video teaser. And then when he came back from Seattle, I said, what about now? And he saw everything that we were thinking about doing. And he gave us the seed. He gave me the seed money to travel back to South Africa with Mermans. And that's how the documentary got started.
Wow.
Yeah. And I gotta stop also and highlight this. You mentioned the O1 visa, and we know just how difficult it is for folks to get visas. If anyone's ever tried or had family members, it's an arduous process. And this one is special. And I just wanted to read the definition of it here from the USCIS.gov site here. The O1 non-immigrant visa is for the individual who possesses extraordinary ability in the sciences, arts, education, business, or athletics, or who has a demonstrated record of extraordinary achievement in the motion picture or television industry and has been recognized nationally or internationally for those achievements. So that's a rare class to be categorized in, and a special visa to achieve. So pretty awesome accomplishment there. So anyway, just an aside there. So
beautiful.
Yeah, amazing. Now you got the documentary, and we mentioned Crypto Mofaya's the NFT project. So how is this related, and how did this come about as well?
Well, the NFT project, being in Venice, I feel like I'm at the crossroad of art and technology. I've been working in Hollywood for 20 years, and everyone around me is in tech. They're creating blockchains. They're starting NFT galleries literally on my street. And these are my neighbors, people I talk to every day. So it just came about when I was introduced to crypto a few years ago. And then in the middle of 2021, I was introduced to NFTs. And I thought, wow, we're in post-production on our film. We just got back from the Congo. And what a cool way to sort of merge these worlds and expand our community. So that's pretty much how the NFT collection, the idea sort of came about, was just by proximity of where I live and the awesome people that have been educating me.
Yeah, makes sense. What a hotbed of NFT activity in LA, and in particular West LA, and in particular Venice, Santa Monica area, right? Like, forget about it. It's amazing.
And particularly Josh's house, which is we've just found out is not that far from you.
Right.
Well, a lot of the action goes on at Manati's Coffee, right by the beach, and they got great coffee, and a lot of NFT and crypto folks hang out there. So I always encourage people that are trying to get into this space, just come grab a coffee and meet some folks and sort of go down the rabbit hole. But let's talk a little bit more about these crypto Mofayas. There's going to be 1,250. How are the folks that are listening going to be engaged with these crypto Mofayas? What's going on with the utility side?
Well, the cool thing about the project, the NFT project, and the documentary is we're in post-production on the film. So tying this NFT collection into the movie is going to not only help us get to the finish line, but a portion of the proceeds are going to go toward building a music school in the Congo, in Kinshasa, where Mermans is from. We were just in Kinshasa in June of 2021. And do you want to tell everyone where the music school would be in Kinshasa? It's a pretty special location.
Yeah, the music school is going to be in Matete. That's where I grew up. It's one neighborhood in Kinshasa. And Matete is kind of, what can I say here in Los Angeles, like Compton, kind of.
Oh, it's like Compton?
Yeah,
like kind of like dangerous?
Dangerous, yeah.
Wow.
And then you get great musicians that come out of there too, And you see a lot of kids on the streets. There's a lot of poverty, and I struggled a lot. I used to walk around everywhere with my guitar, because playing music back there was very, very, like, you lose everything becoming a musician, because the country was so corrupt. There's no royalty for musicians. There's no nothing. So, and then I just got my metric in mathematics and physics. And then my mother's wish was to go and become an architect, which I think I'm an architect anyway, because music is a building. So, So yeah, when I became a musician, it was crazy. crazy. It was a big fight between she and I. So, and then that's just one of the reasons also I had to leave, so that she could be proud of me when I come back. I believed in something nobody saw. So the school is going to be there for those kids who were like me, who are like me right now, because I wasn't given opportunity to study or play music, but I want to give to those kids who might be in the same situation, but at least I can go to the parents and say, I'll look after them, I'll do this and I'll do it, and I'll make sure they can become great artists, they can become great bass player, guitarist, or drummer, or music producer, or stuff like that. So that's the idea, to go back to give what I didn't have.
That's beautiful. Yeah, and I think people often underestimate the power that music has, especially for young people, in sort of emotionally processing their environment, especially having that in some of these environments, like you said, the equivalent of Compton in your country, or even some of the neighborhoods here in the United States, where kids could really use that just as a form of expression and like processing things, and also just a way of communicating in the world that's super powerful, right? We really appreciate how you're leveraging that. So I want to talk a little bit about the documentary again here. I know you guys are going to submit to some of these top tier festivals: Toronto, South by Southwest, Sundance, Berlin, Cannes in summer 2022. That's super exciting. Can you tell us a little bit about making the film? And I don't know, I guess if you have a few spoilers, we'll bleep them out maybe, or maybe we'll just let them in. Tell us what's going on.
Mermans is such a unique person and character that when I point the camera at him, I just love following him around. So when we got to Cape Town originally, he pretty much said, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to shoot. He set up all the interviews. We went around Cape Town, which was a little bit dangerous for myself. Some of the neighborhoods we got into, there were about 5 or 6 situations where I had to be escorted out of an area because of the danger involved. There was one time we were filming on the street. I was put in a headlock and someone grabbed my camera. But thankfully we had quite a big contingency around us, which broke up the scene pretty quickly. But as far as the doc, when I got back from Cape Town, nobody wanted to help me raise money or give me anything to help edit the movie. So I literally, COVID hit, I sat in my editing suite and I just taught myself how to edit this film, raise some money. We went back to the Congo, where Mermans is from. We shot, but this time I brought a camera crew with us, and we got some incredible footage from Mermans' hometown in Kinshasa and all around. So basically we are in post-production. So we're in the 3rd act of our completing this whole project. But I forgot. What was your question again?
Well, I mean, you're answering it. I mean, just sort of the process of production in the film. I know my wife's actually a documentary filmmaker, and she's made some films. She's working on one right now, and made some documentaries. And it's interesting to see the analogies here. It's really beautiful when the filmmaker has such a great relationship with the subject of the film, right? And it's like it's kind of awkward, but it also is beautiful how sort of blur the boundaries of friendship and filmmaking and subject and object and all of these things. It can really make for a great documentary.
You make a great point. And as I mentioned, we're like brothers, and there's a trust factor involved. His kids call me Uncle Jesse, and, I feel like I'm part of his family. When I was in Africa, both times with Mermans, I felt totally protected and safe. Despite these environments and neighborhoods we're entering, I felt protected. And there's a level of trust that we've established where, it just makes it work, the relationship.
Yeah, I'll add one thing too. Jesse blends quickly wherever he goes. That's the thing I saw. When we went to Cape Town, remember that place in Woodstock, where we were playing in the back, like in the barn.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then You see that in the documentary when it come out, when we play, and then Jesse was taking a picture of me and the guys, and one of the guys were like, no, can you take a picture of Jesse with us? So, and then if you see that picture, Jesse looks like just this kid that, I don't know, this kid that was left behind in the Congo.
Like a white kid that was left behind.
That was left behind by his parents when they grew up there and stuff like that. The same thing happened in Kinshasa as well.
Yeah.
So
in case you didn't hear, he said blends. Jesse blends.
Yes,
blended in. But I guess growing up in New York, and race and color didn't mean a thing to me. All my friends were all races and different colors. So for me, it was easy to assimilate.
Big time. People come help with carrying cameras. People come and then bringing waters. People and everybody called me Jesse.
Everyone was so generous and welcoming. Yeah, completely.
I can't help but just call to mind here. I'm actually getting through an audiobook by Malcolm Gladwell where he interviews Paul Simon with his journey to South Africa, producing the music that he produced back in that time. And it sounds really interesting. I highly recommend that if people are interested in this. It's sort of the musical integrations of the States and Africa.
So let's talk roadmap a little bit more. So we talked about the construction of the school when there's like so many other cool things on that roadmap. I heard something about sending music into space and some other cool stuff. Tell us more, like what's on this roadmap?
Yeah. So just as far as you mentioned the top tier film festivals, I'll tell you exactly how we got to space from starting in the Congo. But part of the utility of owning a crypto Mofaya is we're going to go to some of these top tier festivals and we're going to throw parties. Mofaya is going to be playing in everywhere we go because you give him a guitar and but also there'll be unlockable content from his music and downloads. Also just being a part of this community and with Playing for Change, music lovers, documentary film lovers, and people who want to experience an incredible story. And this man's journey is unlike any journey I've ever heard in my entire life. But as far as our roadmap is concerned, so after we submit to festivals this summer, when I was at Art Basel in Miami this past like about a month or so ago, I was at a SpaceX party and I was just like in awe, surrounded by astronauts and everyone who's that whole space. Everyone's getting into NFTs, and I met an awesome NFT collector, and her name is Mary Liz, and she is the photographer and filmmaker, does all the launches of SpaceX. And when I told her Mofaya's story and his music and where he's come from, she said, you know what, I've got an idea. Why don't we launch his music from Cape Canaveral at the end of 2022? So his music will be floating in space for all of eternity. And I said, I'm floored.
Oh, yeah.
I'm floored. How did you feel about that?
I mean, I couldn't believe that. I went back to the Apollo 11, the Armstrong and stuff like that. I was like, no way.
That's pretty awesome.
That's real cool, man. Yeah, nothing.
I love the moment where you're like, no, thanks. It's all right. You don't have to go through the trouble.
No, we're good. But now we're figuring out what music actually we're going to launch into space. So we'll be very discerning.
That's what I was going to ask. It's there forever, man. I mean, it's out there.
That's definitely going to be some very, very traditional Congolese, deep in the jungle kind of music.
Amazing. That's cool.
I think the sequel to the documentary has to be like a futuristic fiction film about an alien encountering that music. I think that's the next step, guys.
I don't know if it's going to be I don't know if it's a chip. Sorry, Josh. I don't know if it's a chip or what, but this alien will be drinking coffee and the chip is going to land in their coffee. That's how it's probably going to happen.
Beautiful. Love it.
Spoken like a true filmmaker. So on that topic, IP rights, royalties, licensing, these have all been pretty significant topics in NFT land of late. Curious, do you plan on selling the Mofaya documentary to top tier streaming services like HBO, Netflix, Amazon, Hulu, Apple, Disney? What does that process look like?
Yeah, absolutely. And, I was fortunate when I was growing up in New York, as I mentioned, my best friend for 1 year was a guy by the name of Andy. And we connected. And then I moved to Texas and we lost touch. We reconnected here in Los Angeles, probably 35 years later. And he's a movie producer. He just did a movie with Matthew McConaughey, and his brother has a deal at HBO. He's a deal at Netflix. So he signed on. When I showed him, I've been hitting him up since we reconnected. Read this book. What about this script? No. And I'm like, well, I have this doc I'm working on. I know you're probably not interested. And I played him a little bit of it. And he was blown away. He said, this is something I can help you with. So Andy signed on. He brought another friend called Michael, who's really big in the doc space. So Andy and Mike are my producers. And instead of going directly to Netflix, they said, look, let's go to the festivals. We'll drum up some buzz for the movie and hopefully create a bidding war. So that's the plan, is to go to a top tier streaming service. But his story will pretty much, I believe, sell itself.
That's really cool.
I think that's pretty evident right now. We definitely are looking forward to that. And what's the time? Like, what's the earliest that we'd be able to watch this?
Well, the way it sort of comes together, if we submit to, let's just say, Sundance in the deadline is September of 2022, they will premiere it in March of 2023. So it looks like, if we go to South by Southwest, Mermans plays at South by Southwest every year. We also went to, since Jazz Fest was canceled this year, we still went to New Orleans. And you want to tell them real quick about
Congo Square?
Yeah.
Yeah. First of all, when I came to US, we did a lot of tours, bus tours with Playing for Change band. And then every time we went to New Orleans, the food in New Orleans felt very, very Congolese. And then I heard about the Congo Square. And I was like, why Congo? Why not Nigeria Square? Why not Senegal Square? Why Congo Square? Then I did my research. Apparently there were the French people were giving the slaves 1 day to share their traditions.
Right, on Sundays or something.
Sunday, they will share, they will express themselves, they will do their dances, they will do all their stuff. And that happened in that spot called Congo Square. Then I was like, why Congo? And then one of the guys was like, they probably came from the Kingdom of Congo. And then when we went, I was very, very anxious to go to see the Congo Square when with Jesse. And then we took some pictures in front of an artwork where there are people like playing drums and then ladies singing and stuff. And then where I sat in front of this figure right behind me, if you look at the person and you look, especially the nose, I show it to my family. I show it to my family, I send it to my family, and they say, this is definitely a Congolese guy right behind you there,
Beautiful.
He looked like me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now the question is, could Jesse blend in with that? That's what I want to know.
Have you heard me play music?
Yeah.
You don't want to hear me play music.
New Orleans is a beautiful place, and that's a really wonderful connection there. There's so many. It's so beautiful to be there and see all of the ways that music is intersecting and growing and changing, throughout history through New Orleans. Just going back to something that you guys said earlier about sort of Merman's story kind of telling itself and selling itself and all these things. And I think just one thing to highlight here, we'll be wrapping up the questions here, but he's earned it, right? I mean, that's what's interesting about a story like Mermans. Like, you can't make up stories like that. You have to live through stories like that. And clearly there's a lot of pain and struggle and, disconnection and, false starts and misdirections. And it's really beautiful to see that it all culminates somewhere and be able to tell that story and share the good and beauty that comes out of that. So, you deserve every bit of it, Mermans. We appreciate you. Want to go back a little bit to the topic of NFTs here and get to know, your guys' opinions on other projects that you look to for inspiration as you build your NFT project around the film.
Well, when as I mentioned, living in Venice Beach, my neighbor Seth started Bright Moments. I think Seth was on the show. Was he?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, and Seth was my paddle tennis partner all through COVID. And so when he was building out the actual gallery right by the Venice sign, Josh, as you mentioned, right by Minotti's, he was walking me in and saying, I'm thinking about starting an NFT gallery here. And I didn't even know what he was talking about. I didn't know what NFTs were. I didn't know how it tied into art. So one of my early inspirations, and continued to this day after I minted a crypto Venetian and a crypto New Yorker, and then the whole aspect, I think Seth is ahead of his time with wanting to mint IRL. Everyone has been stuck behind their computers now with the virus and COVID spreading. So minting in real life and meeting all these people that are in this community and seeing all these cool, interesting, hearing all these stories. So that has really been like the biggest inspiration for me. So we are looking to do a live mint and Mofaya performance from Venice Beach. We just had to postpone the date. It was supposed to be Wednesday, the 12th of January, but since of the rampant COVID spread right now, we just thought safety would be the number one thing to be thinking about. So we're going to do a live IRL mint in the middle of February. I believe it's like a couple of days after Valentine's Day. So yeah, so that's the long answer.
Yeah, no, that's what a great paddle tennis partner. And we've seen the growth of Bright Moments from its inception as well. It's been quite an interesting journey, to be lucky enough to see the minting of crypto Venetias. And then, I see here August 25th, not that long after the launching of Bright Moments, Fred Wilson of Union Square Ventures sending 500 ETH to Bright Moments DAO and getting back 1 million Bright Moments tokens, basically making an investment in that project of huge proportions. That's like $1.5 million at least. Yeah.
Pretty cool experience seeing the evolution there. And I have dabbled in paddle tennis, Jesse, but I may need some lessons because it was much harder than it looked.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a cross between ping pong and tennis. So if you've ever played either one, you're already a step ahead of the game.
Right on.
Completely. Well, yeah. Hey, look, guys, this is an amazing set of projects here, an amazing story. We're going to be sitting here waiting very impatiently to be able to check out the documentary and become part of this community. But it was so great to hear about everything that inspired you to build this project and to share it with the world. We'd like to shift gears a little bit, though, and get some answers from a personal perspective on a set of questions we like to call Edge Quick Hitters. There's 10 questions. We ask every single guest that joins the show about these. We look for like single or few-word responses, but there'll be a couple of spots maybe where we indulge and dive a little deeper. You guys want to dive in and have some fun?
All right.
Sure.
All right, let's do it. Question number 1. We'll start with you, Jesse. What is the first thing you remember ever purchasing in your life?
You know what? The first thing I can think of was I used to collect baseball cards in New York, and the New York Mets in 85, 86, they won the World Series in 86. So I think the first thing I bought was probably a Darryl Strawberry baseball card.
Solid, man. Yeah, I think I definitely have a few of those floating around. 86 tops. Come on, I know that card.
Exactly. Yeah, they had a few of those.
Nice. Mofaya, how about you?
I bought a small tin of condensed milk.
Nice. Is this something that you
I love sweet so much when I was a kid.
There we go. Yeah.
So the condensed milk was very sweet, and then I would just take it, and then I was on my way from school. I remember that was like a grade 1.
Yeah.
On the way back, I bought in a small store on the way back home. Then I used my pen to put 2 holes on it. So I hit it with the end, and then I started just sucking it on the
Yeah, man, those sweets are hard to get away from. Let's do question number 2. Okay, what is the first thing you remember ever selling in your life, Jesse?
The first thing I remember selling was bubble gum. I would buy a bag of bubble gum and then for like about $1, and then I'd sell bubble gum for 5 cents at my elementary school.
Nice.
Rock and roll.
Good company.
I would sell out in a day.
Yeah, I bet. Awesome. Mofaya, how about you?
Same.
Would you be willing to include like a stick of bubble gum with each of the crypto Mofayas? Just curious.
Absolutely. But it's only IRL.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, selling. First thing I saw. First of all, I'm very bad in selling stuff. I sell stuff in the price that you want.
Nice.
I remember my brother that died, that was shot. He used to do mattresses. So he kind of taught me. That's when we were like 12 years old, something like that. He taught me how to do mattresses. Yeah, and I used to do that.
To sell them?
Yeah, I believe that should be the very first thing that I saw with it, because he actually sold it and then gave me the money, but he was the one that I kind of made. That was probably 1983, 84, something like that.
Wow. That's definitely a unique one. That's for sure. I think first one of that nature on this show. That's cool. Question number 3, Jesse, what is the most recent thing you purchased?
The most recent thing I purchased was an NFT. I am fascinated by the market and tracking projects and watching communities grow. So the last thing I bought was an NFT 2 nights ago.
You can share it if you want. If you don't want to, it's okay.
I actually bought a Bored Ape Kennel Club. So it's not that innovative, but I really like the community and like where it's going and what they're providing for their members and the people who are part of that community. And it's also inspiring to me to see where they're going and how much they've grown.
Yeah, for sure. And so many cool parts of the project are, ripe for inspiration for others. And you can already see people kind of piggybacking off of that and doing other cool things. So, Mofaya, how about you? What is the most recent thing you purchased?
I purchased the pliers.
Nice. Awesome. Are you a handyman? You like doing stuff around the house or? Yeah. Right on. Question number 4. What is the most recent thing you sold, Jesse?
The most recent thing I sold would be an NFT. These are easy questions. These are like a slow pitch.
Look, right? We're warming you up.
I had a crypto pill. Have you guys heard of the crypto pills?
Yeah.
You know those NFTs?
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So I sold a crypto pill.
Right on. Mofaya, how about you?
Last time I sold something, that's probably 5-6 years ago.
I mean, well, when we went to the Congo, Mofaya was giving things away.
Well,
so
okay.
He gives his family and his community. I am floored by how much he gives back to his family and the Congo, and he's constantly sending money and gifts and yeah.
I cannot sell.
It reminds me. It reminds me a bit of the culture at Burning Man. A lot of people think it's a trading culture. Like, oh, I have 2 flashlights, and you give me a cool mask.
Stuff like that. Yeah,
but it's not. It's a gifting economy. Nobody, you're not expected to make trades. Everybody's just expected to give things to everybody else, and you shouldn't expect to receive anything, right? So it's an interesting concept, and it takes a lot of folks that have that attitude like Merman does to get together and make that actually work,
Yeah, no, it's cool. I think you're a way better salesman than you give yourself credit for, though, brother. Okay, question number 5, Jesse. What is your most prized possession?
I'll show you. Well, you can't. This is part radio, but I'll
Is it Daryl Strawberry 86 Tops? What is it? No.
Oh, nice.
This is my dog Scout. She is a rescue from Venice. She's a Chihuahua Terrier, and she's definitely my most prized possession.
Awesome.
I've seen her around town for sure.
Yeah. She gets around. But no, so for anyone who can't see what she looks like, I was inspired by Toto from The Wizard of Oz. She's kind of like a scruffy little version of Toto. And that's actually one of my favorite films. So.
And she's my girlfriend.
Yes. And she loves me.
There you go. Well, be careful. If you're tempting too much here, Josh is going to run over there because he's obsessed with dogs. So.
He's a dog lover. Amazing. Mofaya, how about you? What is your most prized possession?
What's my most prized possession? What's it?
You have a few prized possessions.
Like, I want to understand that.
Like what? Like if Scout is mine, what would be yours? Like,
like something that you treasure more than anything else that you own.
I mean, my family, my wife and daughters. I have 3 daughters and 1 son, and my wife. They are the most precious thing.
Yeah, man. Right on. Question number 6, Jesse, if you could buy anything in the world, digital, physical, service, and experience that's currently for sale, what would that be?
That's a really good question. If I could buy something, I would buy more time. Because there's so many things I want to do, and I feel like time goes by so fast, and I want to see how I want to be here when the sun burns out. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, man. Right on. It's a precious thing, isn't it? Yeah. Mofaya, how about you? If you could buy anything in the world, digital, physical, service, and experience, what would that be?
I'll buy a big land where everybody can fit in.
Where would you want that?
Anywhere.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I want to come to that party, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Will you play music there?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, buddy. Question number 7. Jesse, if you could pass on one of your personality traits to the next generation, what would that be?
Man, I think, I think follow through and seeing things. I used to not be like this, but I used to like kind of work on a project and leave it halfway and say, yeah, this is not going anywhere. But, right around when I turned 30, I literally just told myself, you know what, from this moment on, I'm going to finish everything I start. And if I could pass that on to, my kids or next generation, just to finish things that they start, see the finish line. It's pretty important. Yeah,
for sure. How about you, Mofaya?
Confidence and self-trust. Just tell yourself you matter, I matter too. Yeah, so self-confidence, yeah. Mostly
super important.
Yeah.
Flip side of that, question number 8, Jesse, if you could eliminate one of your personality traits from the next generation, what would that be?
Procrastination and, looking at mindless social media posts and just kind of wasting my time on things that don't matter. Because now more than ever, we need to be really aware of what does matter. And that includes things like our planet and people and relationships and taking care of, the ones we love. So, sorry, I kind of went off on a tangent there, but that's kind of my, I forgot the question. Sorry.
Distractions. Which actually goes well with your personality traits.
There you go.
That's it. Mofaya, if you could eliminate one of your personality traits from the next generation, what would that be?
Yeah, people complain about me. Like, I'm like a yes kind of guy. I say yes to almost everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which I don't think is wrong. They say I'm too selfless. Like, I don't think it's wrong.
But that's what they like to beat you up about.
Yeah.
All good. Well, no, hey, listen, man, it's interesting too to just look at it from the perspective of what other people view and through their eyes, Mm-hmm. But conviction and confidence comes through. That's for sure. Well, if it comes back to you, we can revisit it. But we have a couple of easy ones here to close this thing out. Question number 9, Jesse, what did you do just before joining us on the podcast?
I was actually on a Zoom call with my editor who's in Boston. So fortunately we have We have post-production funds to help us find an editor, which we found. And we have been working together about 4 weeks now. So I was just on a Zoom call with him, kind of
nice.
Up on where we are with our edit.
Beautiful, beautiful. Exciting times. Mofaya, how about you?
I went to Home Depot and I bought the pliers.
That was it. Got the throwback to the flyers. Nice. All right. Amazing. Last question, Jesse. Number 10. What are you going to do next after the podcast?
I'm going to, since Mofaya is here, I'm going to, we might have to translate. I don't know if he has time, but we need to translate some of the French. They speak French in the Congo into English because I don't speak French, and might do that, or maybe we might grab a coffee.
Right on. Mofaya, how about you, man?
I'm going to see an auto electrician for my car.
Got it.
Yeah.
Nice. That sounds like you're going to blow off Jesse.
The coffee thing and the translation.
I thought we were going to get a coffee. I got to go to the car.
I love it, man. Awesome. Well, hey guys, thanks so much for indulging us here with Edge Quick Hitters. That's a wrap on that. And I guess that's really a wrap for the collective show. I mean, we really appreciate everything you guys have brought to the table and shared with our listeners today. So many cool things, so much opportunity for impact in the world through what you're doing. Can't wait to see what comes from your collaboration. We want our listeners to make sure to be able to follow you though, and be part of your journey. Where should they go to do that? On Twitter, we are at Crypto Mofayas. And we will have a website that will be active any day now called cryptomofayas.com. And then if you just Google Mofaya, the documentary, you'll see we were accepted into the International Documentary Association's fiscal sponsorship program. And you'll be able to read up a little bit about what more things about the doc and our roadmap. But just getting into that foundation was pretty big accomplishment for the movie. So yeah. Awesome. Yeah, that sounds like it. And I think we also have a little giveaway for our listeners as well. Do you want to give a little background on that bad boy?
Yeah, we're going to give away. We're giving away some Crypto Mofayas, some NFTs to your listeners. I think we have reserved 10. And then also, if whoever owns a Crypto Mofayas NFT, they'll be entered into a drawing to win a Gibson Hummingbird acoustic guitar. Ooh. And attached that will be, I haven't even told him this yet, but a 30-minute Zoom music lessons with Mofaya.
Yeah, man.
Oh, wow. Nice. That's a nice one. I like that. That's for sure.
If you can find the time. If you can find the time.
No,
right.
Definitely make time.
That's cool. So keep an eye out on our socials for information on how to participate in a contest for that amazing giveaway. We really appreciate it, guys. Okay. Well, I think we've reached the outer limit at the edge of NFTs for today. So thanks for exploring with us. We've got space for more adventures on the Starship. So invite your friends and recruit some cool strangers that will make this journey all so much better. How? Go to iTunes right now, rate us, and say something awesome. Then go to edgeofnft.com to dive further down the rabbit hole. And remember, we always invite you to co-create and build with us at Edge of NFT. We're unlocking a whole new way to connect and collaborate with us through our own NFT drops, spirit seeds, leading to living tree NFTs, which light the way to our event, NFT LA, a one-of-a-kind, immersive, and unforgettable experience at LA Live in Los Angeles, March 28th to the 30th. Check it out at nftla.live and move quick on early bird tickets as they are now live and selling out quickly. Lastly, be sure to tune in next time for more great NFT content. Thanks again for sharing this time with us today. The views and opinions expressed on the Edge of NFT podcast reflect solely those views and opinions of the show creators and its guests. We're learning as we go, just like you. Please make sure to do your own research. Our podcast is not financial advice. There are multiple strategies and not all strategies fit all people. You understand that you are using any and all information available on or through this podcast at your own risk.